सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। There was a very intense test established by Yamadharma Raja, where even the best of the best usually would have failed, and Nachiketa, with his keen interest in trying to understand that Supreme and nothing but that Supreme, very easily saw through the tests of Yamadharma Raja, and confidently he rejects all the different offers that he was given. Yamadharma Raja is very, very pleased with this kind of a student. And he says that there is always a choice with every individual at every intersection of an experience that they undergo. And the choices that we have to make. So here there are two aspects. The first aspect is life as is when it is unfolding. That is not in our hand. We have already set it in motion. That is called prarabdha. But in order to tackle that prarabdha, we require to have a very sophisticated, well thought out, viveka filled buddhi. Because in order to cater to that particular experience, what kind of choices that I choose is completely my will. That is called purushartha. In selecting, we usually have two choices. Whatever different kinds of choices may appear, they all can be grouped into two. One is called Shreyas, the other is called Preyas. Shreyas, that which is for the absolute good. Preyas, that which is very pleasant, very convenient and easy path, but not that very beneficial. Not at all beneficial in many cases. So he has explained that in the first mantra that, hey Nachiketa, sadhu is the one that chooses Shreyas, and the asadhu is the one that goes with the preyas. Convenient, easy, pleasant, pleasurable is the asadhu choice. It is not Shreyas. Now he continues in the second mantra, page 68. श्रेयश्च प्रेयश्च मनुष्यमेतः Tau samparitya vivinakti dhiraha shreyo hi dhiro abhipreyaso vrinite preyo mandaha योगक्षेमात् वृणीते श्रेयश्च प्रेयश्च मनुष्यम एतः. At every intersection of life, both Shreyas and Preyas come as choices to every single individual. So we should never ever take the wrong logic in saying, I was left with no choice. There is always a choice. Whether I was willing to take that which was hard, or I didn't want to put that effort and took the easy, that is up to me. But there is always a choice. At every intersection, these two choices, they always appear. And he says, Tau samparitya vivinakti dhiraha. The word dhira is often translated as the brave, the courageous. Being brave and courageous is the effect of dhiratva. The very word dhira actually means the one who is endowed with patience. An impatient one cannot be courageous. Dhiraha here means the one who is endowed with a lot of patience. And a seeker necessarily has to have mountains of patience. Mountains of patience with what? With who? With one's own self. Because we know we are a tough nut to crack. It is not that easy to work on ourselves. So one requires immense amounts of patience. And with that patience, what should the seeker do? Vivinakti should have the good ability to discriminate. Now, in today's day and age, discriminating is often seen as a bad word. Why is it seen as a bad word? Because we have the capacity to discriminate between man and a woman, educated and uneducated, wealthy and poor. More than all of this, every country has, every country seems to have a fault line. A fault line of the one who has and the one who doesn't. In the Western world, it is the feminist versus the toxic masculinity. It is between the white and the black. So discrimination is like looking down upon. Today's language, vocabulary, that is what it has come down to. Here when we say in Vedanta discrimination, don't bring the new age meaning associated with it and ruin the beauty of Vedanta. Discrimination, that which is Nitya and Anitya. That which may seem easy but does not yield Nitya Vastu or does not take us to that Nitya Vastu. That which seems hard and yet ensures that it takes us to the Nitya Vastu. This understanding is what is the result of that Dhiratva. Dhiratva being endowed with immense amount of patience. Dhiraha vivinakti tau samparitya, having examined every situation. Whenever we talk about examining every situation, this situation is not going to wait for us to make those decisions at our leisure. आराम से करेंगे, जल्दी क्या है कल करेंगे. It doesn't wait for our timely or untimely. It moves by its own speed. So one has to be diligent enough to make those decisions at the speed with which the life is throwing these experiences at us. It cannot be lazily looked upon. So there also dhiratva comes. So examining it with the pace at which that life is unfolding, and then one has to make a choice. When as simple as waking up early in the morning, most of us don't feel very encouraged and energized to jump out of the bed. We know after we wake up, especially as age catches up, after waking up, we require another 10-15 minutes to come out of the bed. There you are now deciding. 2 days break of the Upanishad class. Monday, if I wait till Tuesday, it will anyway come on the online. Should I not? It is always good to be there in person, but you know what? Saturday, Sunday, they say weekend, but I am really weekend. I don't have the strength. You're making a choice at every intersection of life. Samparitya, thoroughly analyzing the situation, examining the situation. Shreyo hi dhiraha abhipreyasaha. Dhira categorically chooses only Shreyas always. It's a simple compass that one has to keep in life. Whatever be the intensity of the situation, however infinitesimally small or however demanding, our choices cannot be negligent choices. It has to be endowed in, soaked in dharma, which makes us take the Shreyas always. That has to be the key. That is what we see in Mahabharata. When you look at the story, it is not like the Pandavas were absolutely perfect. They have done their share of wrong. Have they not? Especially not in the battlefield, not that much in the battlefield, but when they lost their kingdom that they had built. What happened in there? He was challenged with a game, and in that game, he could have lost all of the things, but to lose his brothers and wife, after he had lost himself, he had no right. But in the heat of the moment, he did wrong. He could have been like Kauravas, Duryodhana ityadi. But then he owned up the wrong that he did and went through the tapas of going through those 12 and 1 year, making sure that that which they have done wrong, prayaschitta is done. Now, even the brothers, throughout the Vanavasa and Ajnatavasa, usually human mindset is such that if somebody else's decision has impacted my life in such a way that all the comforts and all the things that which I am entitled to is snatched away for that one person's reason for which you have lost all of it, how would we penalize that one fellow? Every so often we keep digging that grave and poking that individual for that wrong that they have done, don't we? Nowhere in those 12 years or the 13th year they ever penalized Yudhishthira for the wrong that he had done. And the reason that is given is we have lost that opportunity to say anything to Yudhishthira, because at that moment when we had to say, we shut our mouth and we kept quiet. As much as he was wrong, in keeping quiet, we were also wrong. We should have stopped him right then and there. When Bhima could react to what happened to Draupadi there without permission of any of the other four, he had every right to stand up before that could have happened. And because they did not, they accepted it and went through that Prayaschitta without complaining about Yudhishthira. That is the maturity. I'm talking of the second, in accepting their wrong, is what I'm calling it as Dhiratva. So we also have various choices, and we have to come to the conclusion to our own understanding that whatever choices that I make, there will be a repercussion of it. Whatever choice I make, there will be a repercussion. Whatever choices I am taking, am I making those choices based on my prejudiced mindset, or am I transcending my prejudices and evaluating the situation for what that situation is worth and then making the call? This analysis has to be there backing me, so that I have the confidence to look at my own face, into my own eyes, without guilt or remorse. Because those repercussions are going to bog you down. They are going to weigh very heavy. So at every intersection, it is my decision. And at every single point of life, Dhira makes the choice which is Shreya alone. Mandaha, dull-headed. In Telugu, Manda means thick-headed. Manda is thickness. Thickness, it also comes from the root word which is Manda in Sanskritam, which means dull, dim-witted. Those who in today's language we call them as practical people. Educated, sophisticated, practical people. What do they take? They take the prayers. What is it? What is it that forces these dull-headed, dim-witted people to make those easy choices in the name of being practical? That also is given. Yoga Kshemat. What are they looking at? Yoga and Kshema. Therefore, after having explained the entire Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan says, Sarva dharman parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Aham tva sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami masucha. I will take care of you. How will you take care of me? He says, your yoga kshema is my responsibility. But the choices you make should not be contaminated by you taking the standpoint of your yoga kshema. You have to always make the decision from the standpoint of what is the absolute right. It may appear in that temporary moment that may not be your yoga and kshema. There are people that will come and advise. Whenever you have to make a choice, there will be always at least 4 or 5 people around you who will always say, "अरे तुझे ये करना चाहिए था." Take all advices, but make the right decision. But the manda are already sold out for yoga and kshema. What does yoga and kshema mean? Yoga, that which I do not have to acquire it. Kshema, that which I have acquired, now I have to secure it. So to procure and to secure. All lifelong, what does this individual do? What is their standpoint? What is my ROI? ROI from the standpoint of yoga and kshema, not from dharma and shreyas. How best can I procure, and what I have procured, how best can I secure? This sense of insecurity drives human being to the lowest ebb of our existence. In any environment, what we seek always, though it is the highest, what we end up doing in seeking that highest is the lowest. And in order to secure my own security, I don't care, I don't mind if it leads to others and the other environments into the most improbable situations. What matters is my sense of security. And in order to provide for that security, I have to procure. So there is this constant effort of securing and procuring. So here Yamadharmaraja says, Yoga Kshemat Vranite, constantly securing and procuring. Procuring and securing. Constant effort is only in that direction. Why? There is that deep sense of insecurity. It will shake the individual to not be even a human being. My interest is the only interest. Rest all, I don't care, I don't need. Can you close that door? Thank you. This is like a volume of strain removed. No, the light. So constant securing, procuring, securing, this has become our pattern. We don't even care about if it is a near one, dear one, our own parents, our own children, our own family, it doesn't matter. All that only after I feel secure. If that security is not guaranteed, I don't care, I don't mind dropping my own brother, sister. I don't feel secure. If somebody is innocently in their presence, is disturbing your sense of security, I will make sure that that person is pulled down. That is the dull-witted, dim-wittedness. All the Rajaniti that we see, all the politics that we see, don't alienate ourselves saying that, oh no, that is there. That is only a magnified expression of inside. The same politics works here also. And then suddenly people who come to the spiritual organization, like, where they say, I didn't expect so much of politics in a spiritual organization like Chinmaya Mission. क्या आसमान से टूट पड़े हैं? Nobody is coming down from heavens. Yes, this is a platform where one should use this as a dhobi ghat to wash their dirt and grow. But people are not here for because they are already perfect. They have come here so that they can gain that perfection. Am I getting across? See, for last 2-3 months, my visits to the hospital has increased. Not for my own cause, but so many other requirements. Now, hospital is a place where do you find sick people more or healthy people more? पता नहीं, इतना बड़ा हॉस्पिटल है फिर भी इतने सारे बीमार लोग हैं, उसी के लिए तो बनाया, right? Similarly, this organization, it is meant for those who are imperfect so that they can have the courage to wash and perfect themselves. Oh, there is so much of politics. Give me 2 people, I'll show you politics. Why? My party, your party, and when required, our party. There's constantly this lobbying and calculations. Why? I have to be secure. Mandaha, the dim-witted. Now again, I am not always manda. It is when my rajas and tamas is higher, I end up acting manda. Very rarely those few moments when there is sattvikata inside, then I act with shreyas. Well, how long do we maintain that sattvikata? Where is the sadhana to support it? Where is the viveka to support it? But Swamiji, when we work in the world, we are in a rajasic mode. But that rajasic mode has to be guided by the sattvic intellect. That is what Shreyas means. Now, having so beautifully analyzed in the second mantra, Yamadharma Raja says in the next one, Sattvam priyan priya rupanscha kaman abhidhyayan nachiketaha atyasrakshihi naitam sunkam वित्तमयीम वाप्तः यस्यां मज्जन्ति बहवो मनुष्याः. Then he is analyzing Nachiketa for Nachiketa's benefit. He is saying, Sattvam. But then you are such, O Nachiketa, Priyan priya rupanscha kaman. That which is filled with praise. I gave you so many different packages, combined packages, enticing packages. कितने 4-5 मंत्र constantly to check where this Nachiketa stands. Priya rupanscha kaman, that which I offered you, O Nachiketa, you were so precise. Abhidhyayan, you thought through every single prompt that I threw at you. And then, logically, filled with amazing reasoning, you atra atyasrakshihi. Atyasrakshihi etti visir padesam. You threw them away. You didn't even want to entertain the thought. Not because your elder said so, not because, what will others think. You had a solid reason for every single thing that was offered to you, and based on that reasoning, you did not even entertain, you threw it away. Atyasrakshi. Naitam srinkam vittamayim avaptaha yasyam majjanti bahavo manushyaha. That which was given to you was so enticing that many in the world would have thought that that is the most practical thing and adapt to accept all of it, whereas you chose to stand tall above all of this. That is the purpose of Sanatana Dharma, to bring this Viveka to every single individual. Making laws, rewriting the articles will not help. It will many a times stand against you. But if the internal compass is always kept straight and rise above the preyous world, that is where a true sadhakatva begins. And when that mind internally changes towards one's own true nature, a sadhu is born, a sadhaka is born. But the sadhakatva begins. The intent to become sadhaka begins from always having the standpoint of looking at Shreyas and Shreyas alone. Rabindranath Tagore ji, he was also a very good poet and an artist. Apart from being a freedom fighter and nationalist, he was also a very good poet. There is one particular poem of his where the mind is held high. That our mind, to keep it, to hold it always to a higher standard, that is a decision of a lifetime that one should convincingly make for oneself. And when that head is held high, where it refuses to stoop down to all fears and fragmented existence, where the head is held high without fear. And that poem is so beautiful. It is like Vedantic thought, so beautifully given in English. That is a choice that we have to make. If after having soaked myself into religion and dharma, my head is not held high with this choice, decision made that I will make only the Shreyaskara decisions, then that religion, that particular path that I have soaked myself in, has not made even a dent of influence or a change. The Shastra, Guru, and the environment provided is to constantly keep this mind up above. Up above the world so high and shine like a diamond in the sky. Constantly it should be kept. And Nachiketa, you have proven your mettle. The others would have slipped and easily be enticed and accept all the gifts that I had given. But you refused. Then he continues. Duramete viparite vishuchi avidyaya cha vidyeti jnata vidya bhipsinam नचिकेतसं मन्ये नत्वा कामा बहवो लोलुपन्त. Both this Shreyas and Preyas, they don't even look similar. Why? One is guided from ignorance, the other is guided from knowledge. One is in darkness of ignorance, the other is in the illumined path of knowledge. Meaning, the one that is constantly looking out with procuring and securing yoga kshema, such one is prompted purely out of ignorance. The entire capitalistic world, उसकी जो बुनियाद है, the foundations, is from the standpoint of prayers and prayers alone. There is a city in US called Sin City. Have you heard of it? The Sin City is Las Vegas. So whenever people would say that, that city is Sin City, I would say that the entire country is a sin country. Because its very foundation is capitalistic. And what is the capitalistic mindset? It does not mind what others will go through. I have to make sure that I procure and I secure. चाहे सारी दुनिया बर्बाद हो जाए. There was a movie called Matrix. It was way ahead of its time. We are talking of AI now. It envisioned AI about 25 years ago, 30 years ago, and there is one particular dialogue where the AI is speaking to the human. It is when I heard, first time when I was watching it, and I heard that particular statement, it kind of shook me up from within. So the AI is talking to the human saying, you are supposed to be a mammal, but you are unlike any mammal created. You are a virus. You spread to the natural resources, consume the natural resources, depleting until to the brink of extinction, not caring for the natural environment. Once it is extinct, then you spread to other environment, and this is the nature of virus, not of mammals. A very powerful statement made. The entire humanity, the history of humans, when you look at it, isn't that what we have done? See, when there was Raja Dharma, where the Raja, Rajya, Rajyanga was guided by Dharma, when including the wars, it was called Dharma Yuddha. It is between the people, go fight it out. While you are fighting, the livestock or the crops or the kingdom should not be destroyed. Go out, go fight, declare, have your whatever rules and regulations, but this should not be destroyed. Wherever there are natural sources of water, minerals, what did our ancient do? In Telangana, Andhra, wherever you find a water source, whether it is a well, pond, or a natural spring or a river, they would keep a Grama Devata. And they would call that Grama Devata as Gangamma, Ganganamatali. Meaning that Ganga which is there in the Uttaradi, that is verily expressing here. Therefore, that natural resource should not be disturbed or destroyed, it should be worshipped. Every aspect, it is worship worthy. So that there is that sanctity and sacredness created. Whatever we are interacting with, whether it is a chair or a paper or whatever vastu, it is always with that sanctified attitude. And that got instilled so well with just observing Gurudev. Even when he would use a scrap of paper and the thought flow did not come right, what would we do with that paper that on which we have scribbled? We crumble it and throw. He would meticulously sit down, fold it, tear it on the crease, and then very respectfully throw it in the trash. When asked, it is only trash, why are you being so meticulous about it? No, it has served me up until now, therefore it deserves my respect. That it, even though it is being thrown in trash, it has to be given into the trash can with respect. अब कर लो बात, सोचो. When guided by that wisdom reflecting in our intellect as Viveka, it is not a temporary bout of spirituality. It is a consistent effort. Come what may, every single standpoint that I take, decision I make, should be guided with this decision which is guided by knowledge. Not out of ignorance. Hey Nachiketa, Duramete Viparite Vishuchi. Both of this are yielding towards different ends, different goals, different results. So don't ever make a mistake of trying to say best of the worlds, this also and that also. One boat is taking you to that shore, the other is taking you to this shore, and you have best of both worlds, 1 foot here, 1 foot there. Boats will go. Where will you be? In the middle, in the ocean. किसी को हिंदी में बहुत गंभीर रूप से कहा गया है, धोबी का कुत्ता, ना घर का ना घाट का, neither here nor there. Not realizing that that is the wrong decision that we have made, we blame our environment, we blame our parents, we blame our governance, we blame everything around. All that is my choice which has led me to that corner. When the entire world is taking to that path of convenience, and you are the only one that is trying to do that which is absolute right, you will be mocked. You will be ridiculed. You will be singled out and cornered. And yet, you have to stand up with courage, conviction, and clarity. Many times, looking at those that are living the life of convenience and easy, pleasurable, we might start doubting our own standpoint. Because others around, will constantly make it their life's business to come and teach you that you are wrong. Therefore, the governance of majority I am always worried about. Because majority is always not right. When we say in democracy that majority wins, the majority is in the preyer's path. So it requires immense amount of conviction. You cannot look for support to find motivated environments because their conviction is on the wrong direction. So don't ever make that mistake of saying both of best worlds. It will not yield any change in our lives personally. Either you are committed to the path of convenience and go far away from the center of your own being, or you are committed to that core of your own existence and turn yourself up. It cannot be both ways. Duramete viparite vishuchi. They are contradicting each other. They are poles apart. Duramete viparite vishuchi. Why? One is called avidya, the other path is called vidya. Even to conceive an idea that I will get best of the both worlds, one is filled with avidya, the other is with vidya. How can you even bring them together? Impossibility. Even the standpoint of saying that you have to get the best of the both worlds, because that is what conveniently we come to conclude that can be my way of life. Neither that extreme nor this extreme, mid path, I will take the best of the both worlds. We are fooling ourselves. Because that mid path, best of the both worlds standpoint, is also born out of convenience only. Not out of courage, not out of vidya. But you, Nachiketa, vidya abhipsinam, you seem to be the upasaka of vidya. Why? Because of the choices that you have made. That where many bade diggaj have faltered, you have not even shaken up even a bit. Not even a little bit. You have stood firm in your understanding. Natva kama bahavo lolupanta. Alolupanta. Lolupanta means to constantly wobble in life. The weakness of our mind shows in our wobbly nature that sometimes when that sattvic mind comes, you want to do something good. But most of the time, you are dragged by your own path filled with avidya. Simple things. Food, I have to be conscious, I have to be careful because I am seemingly putting on weight. But that day when you decide, nature seems to play Yamadharma Raja's role. All that which you love comes lovingly to your platter. And the one who is serving also very lovingly, compassionately says, Aaj ek din ke liye, just for today. You can start doing it from tomorrow. For today, please, enjoy. Enjoy Madi. And then he said, I thought I will not indulge today, but So lovingly they brought it. You can also lovingly say, are you not today? Many bade those who claim themselves to be Diggaj, Lolupanta, they shake with these kinds of choices. But you, Nachiketa, you have stood like a rock. I had heard this statement from Gurudev only once. He might have repeated many times, but I heard it personally once. I made that as my very life's, what do you call it? In the ocean, to guide, there is a lamp. What is that lamp called?
Lighthouse.
Lighthouse. Lighthouse of my life. In matters of opinion, flow freely like water. In matters of principle, stand firm like a rock. We do exactly the same, a little opposite. In matters of opinion, मैंने बोला तो मैंने बोल दिया बस, हिलेगे नहीं. It's an opinion. And each one of us is entitled for our own opinions. Opinions में किच-किच करने का है ही नहीं. For Swamiji, we should be, ठीक है. You are entitled to your opinion. But in matters of principle, understand the depth of that principle comprehensively and apply it unshakingly, unwaveringly. That is what the stories of Purana tell us. Satya Harishchandra, he took to the principle of Satya. However compelling his life may have become, tormenting experiences, did not give up the resolve of Satyatva. Take various stories, various Puranic stories. Dedicatedly chose one, I think it was Vivekanandaji, he says, of all these grand, beautiful, sattvic, daivika qualities, pick one, understand it, digest it, let it flow through your every nerve. Let your nerves become steel by digesting that particular quality. Let your thought, word, deed, let your breathing be that one quality. The rest of the positive qualities will flow through you. But have the courage to stand up with that one quality, make it your life's mission. Those small books that Ramakrishna Mission publishes, thus spake Ramakrishna, thus spake, in that, this is one of the page. What a powerful statement. Own one and live your life committed to that one Siddhanta, principle. Come what may, will not stoop down, will not let myself fall prey to any kinds of vices or enticing situations. At the same time, it has to be a principle, not an opinion. Bhishmacharya took a vow, and that vow was to accommodate Satyavati's children. That vow completed the moment Satyavati's children were no more. He could have dropped that vow then and there, but he was not ready to. The whole Mahabharata story would have taken a different direction only if. So to teach him that Bhagavan Krishna, who had taken a vow to not touch any astra shastra on that battlefield, on the ninth day, ninth day, jumps off his chariot. A broken chariot's wheel he picks up and rushes towards Bhishma, saying, "Aaj tu gaya beta." And Bhishma, on that battlefield, realizes why Bhagavan is doing it. Falls down on his knees and he says, "Nothing more better than dying in your hands. But I understand the point that you are trying to make." He broke his vow. Those are opinions. What is the larger cause? And that which I am standing by, is it a principle or is it an opinion? Very difficult to decipher what is an opinion and what is a principle. That principle you, Nachiketa, that you have stood up with, that you have stood with Nityatva. And anything that which is Anitya, you were readily smart enough to discard them mercilessly. Because your choice was only to stay with Nityatva. Natva kama, by you, the desires were not entertained because you could see through very clearly the temporariness, and therefore I saw you unshakingly, unwaveringly standing. That is the best aspect of you, O Nachiketa. Very rarely we find a guru praising a Sishya. Akhandanand ji used to say, Guru kaun? जो शिष्य पे हमेशा घुर्राते रहता हो वो गुरु. But here is Yamadharmaraja, who is like heaping praises on the Sishya, but the Sishya was also deserving it. क्या क्या बड़े बड़े boons दिए गए. And the best part, he gave such intense, beautiful logic. Those two mantras have to be memorized. Shvobhava martyasya yadantakaitat sarvendriyanam jarayanti tejaha api sarvam jivitam alpameva tavaiva vahaha tava nritya gite. The 26th and the 27th one. Naviddena tarpaniyo manushyaha latsyaamahe vittamadraksha chetva जीविष्यामो यावदिष्यस्यसि त्वं वरस्तु मे वरणीयः स एवः. 26th and 27th mantra of the first Valli. What an inspiration there. And therefore, Yamadharmaraja was also heaping praises. That is the absolute standpoint, beta. Good that, glad that you come with that clarity and dispassion. We'll continue tomorrow. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vasishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.